Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Tuesday, February 25th, and we are here trying to help you make better or less bad or more considered financial decisions. If you have a question, get in touch with us. Go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us that note. That's the email we receive. And if you'd like to join us live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else after that. And know that all of our content lives right there on the jillonmoney.com website. And it's very exciting because, you know, you've heard us talk on this podcast, like, when I say, oh, you can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app. Odyssey is this company that distributes and sells spots for us for the Jill on Money Show. And guess what? They are now doing the same thing with our other podcast, which is the CBS podcast, Money Watch. So now we have two shows. And you know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be putting the second show out on the weekends. And that show is going to be much more focused on getting back to your investing basics. So if you would like to join in on that podcast, you'll have to subscribe to us. That's the Money Watch podcast. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. So check that out. Also, by the way, don't forget, you can also subscribe to the Jill on Money Live service. That's where you have access to quarterly live webinars, bonus audio and video content, the entire back catalog, all for $45 for the next 12 months. And coming up soon, Ed Slott will be joining us for the upcoming webinar on Thursday, March 6th, 7 Eastern Time. Okay, today we are excited because we have maybe the only person named Jolene in New Jersey. Jolene, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
What's going on?
Well, very exciting. Getting ready to retire.
Ooh.
Turn notice in, and I will be leaving work in April. So that's all. It's wonderful. My wife is already retired. So it's, it's a kind of a new chapter for us both.
Okay.
We have long been extreme. I don't want to say extreme, but we've been, pretty diligent with savings. And me personally, I've started working when I was like 13 years old, and it's just always save, save, save. I had depression baby parents, and, they were fire before fire was even a thing.
Right.
And so now we're at that point where we need to stop putting money in and start taking money out.
We're going from accumulation to decumulation.
Can't wait to hear these totals.
I know. Jolene, she's like, I've been working since I'm 13. I've got a bazillion dollars. How old are you, Jolene?
61.
Okay. And when you retire in April, will you have a pension?
Yes.
What is the pension amount?
Both my wife and I have a pension.
Oh my.
Her pension is about $2,800 a month.
Okay.
And mine, although it won't be exactly calculated until, they do all the summing up, but it's going to be around $9,000 a month.
Oh my gosh. Okay. How old is your wife?
65.
Okay.
Just started collecting her other pension, Social Security.
Oh, so she claimed early.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's her Social Security income?
It's about the same, $2,700 a month.
So this is crazy. There's a lot of income coming in. All right. So she's got her $5,500 coming in. Mm-hmm. You're going to have 9,000. Mm-hmm. What do you spend right now?
Well, right now we spend around $7,000 to $7,500 a month.
But you want to it's going to be more than that.
It's going to be more because of, the whole health insurance thing. Right. And so.
Well, she has Medicare.
Yeah. But there's this thing called IRMA.
Yeah, I know. Don't start bitching about that.
Get over it.
Get over that.
I'm not.
Okay,
it's just, it ends up being a lot more expensive than,
Well, what are you doing for healthcare between now and you're 65?
So, I'm very fortunate that I will be able to do COBRA.
Okay. So that's 18 months.
Yep. And then I've been with my company for a very long time, and I qualify for continued medical care.
Stop it. So, okay, wait.
And that's been,
what do you,
it's very, very expensive, right?
Yes.
And
how much?
For me, it's going to end up, it's going to go up each year, but I'm budgeting about $1,900 a month for me. And then for my wife, her Medicare right now is around $850.
Yeah.
So, all in, I think our budget's going to be about $10,500 when we put in the medical stuff.
Okay. Even if let's say it's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so 11,000 net is what we're talking about. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you guys, without you even claiming your Social Security, but starting in April,
Mm-hmm.
you guys are going to have 14,500 a month coming in.
Correct.
Gross.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay, hold on. Don't say a word because
Okay.
I just want to let that sit for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just
Mm-hmm.
so just like let's let it land for a second. Okay. Now tell us about your other savings, because someone who's been working since she's 13 and says she's maybe an extreme saver has put money away. Tell us where and what kind of accounts that you have saved in.
Well, let's start with property.
Okay.
So we have a primary home. It's probably, and everything is all paid off. There's no debt.
Of course there are. I mean, obviously.
So primary home is our starter home. We never upgraded. So
Okay.
we're at about $450 for that.
Okay.
We bought a secondary home out west in the mountains. Potential retirement place. We don't know. That's probably worth right now about $1 million. And let's see, we've got 401k, traditional 401k at about 1.7.
Goodbye.
We have.
You're amazing. You're amazing. Keep going.
100k in Roth.
Yeah.
We got about 55 in HSA. We have about 1.3 in brokerage.
And are you guys managing that yourselves?
Yeah, I was using Fidelity's management, but I got out of that a little while ago.
Okay.
I just didn't feel like they were doing anything more than I could do for myself.
Okay, fair enough.
Then we have about 350k in high yield savings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and that's not earmarked for anything right now.
The 350?
Yeah.
No, it was just kind of like I started accumulating that, about 18 months ago. As I was getting ready for retirement, and I just kind of figured like that would be like our emergency fund in case the market, crapped out, and it would be what we would pull from instead of having to pull from the market.
So, are you planning to claim Social Security at age 70?
No,
you're going to do 67.
Probably not, and I'll tell you why.
Okay,
I recently went through cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Everything's good. Everything is
okay. Okay, good, fair enough.
But, it was definitely an eye opener. It was 3 years of chemo and everything, all the things.
Yep.
And it really brought. I'd never had any health issues before that, and so that was like the first foray into the medical insurance whole situation, and it was an eye opener for sure. And so. Who knows how long life is? So I'll probably claim around 65.
Okay. What will your benefit be at that age?
Well, based on the Social Security, statement or whatever, it says 33
a
month. I think it might be a little less because,
let's say 3.
Yeah.
Okay. For now, just round numbers. You're done in April. You've got your 14.5 gross that's coming in. Is your intention to pull some money out of the pre-tax account? Because I'm sort of like, well, between 61 and 65, why not try to pull out some of your income is only going to go up. So should you pull some of your 401k?
That's the question on the table.
Yeah, I think so. I think the question is because you're still in a high tax bracket. So New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, these are all high tax states, right? In the tri-state area. Although, is your Western Mountain home a place where you have a lower state tax structure?
I'd have to really dig into that, but I don't think it's going to be that. I think it'll be negligible. I don't think it's going to be.
Okay. So right now,
from property tax perspective, absolutely.
Okay. But you want to keep both residences for now.
I think we're going to keep both until we decide where we ultimately want to end up.
I guess the question is this: do you want to just pull some of the money out, a little bit at a time, I mean, not huge money because as we talked about, you are in a fairly high tax bracket. You're probably at 22, 24
Mm-hmm.
ish, let's
Mm-hmm.
just say around there. Because you
Yep.
have a lot, that brokerage account probably generates tax liability.
Oh, yes, it does. I
So,
just met with my accountant earlier this morning to go through our taxes, and it's painful.
oh, you're
But
such a,
I mean, it's a good kind of pain, right?
I know, I
It's
know, I know. If you looked at what were you earning before retirement? So last year, what was your earnings?
it's salary bonus. It
Hmm.
varies every year. Salary bonus, LTI.
Hmm.
But it was in the mid three.
Okay. So you're going to go down a big tax bracket though. You're going from probably 32% ish, right? 32, 35.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now maybe what does make sense is to start pulling money out. So married filing jointly, up to 380 or 90 grand. I don't know where the top of 24% is. I would at least start pulling money out of your retirement accounts.
Yeah.
And I would try to at least get out as much. You don't even have to convert it. You can just keep it because it sounds to me like you like having a little cash on hand. And you have that 350 grand in savings. I guess the question is whether we do a real big conversion. Have you
Yeah.
thought about that?
Yeah, I've actually talked to my accountant a couple of times about doing a Roth conversion.
And what's she say?
She's like, we don't have kids,
Yes.
and so we don't plan on leaving. We don't plan on leaving anybody money, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I think our intent is to leave to charity.
Okay. Okay, great. In
So
that case, then you can really, at age 70 and a half, start doing qualified charitable
yeah.
distributions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have low cost basis stock in that brokerage account? Do you have in other words, do you have a big taxable gain in your brokerage account for a lot of the holdings?
No, I mean, everything's pretty much long term
But
capital.
yeah, but I mean, in other words, when you bought those things, you bought them at much lower levels in
Yes.
many
Oh, yes.
cases?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So,
Okay.
yes, cost basis will be high for much of it.
Okay. So meaning one of the things to consider is if you're not going to do a conversion, then just pull the money out that you need. Just make sure you take the money out and get the money out. If you're in the 24% bracket, you could at least say, we'll take the money out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before you get to your 65 claiming point. And then you just get that money, throw it in the brokerage account if you don't need it. If you need it, great, fine. Use it, spend it, have fun.
Yeah.
But I think that what happens once you start, claiming Social Security, then you're going to have plenty of money. You know that, right?
Yes.
Then the issue really is, well, how do we make this? How do we functionally make sure that, we don't have to pay more taxes than we should? Let's try to, sort of take advantage of the tax law. And in that case, I think if you do want to be charitable, there's two ways to do it. One is to do it, right now during your lives. You could say, hey, I want to give some money to XYZ charity. You can do it from your brokerage account. You can give something that has a low cost basis. You bought it at 10. It's now worth 100. You can gift shares in that particular holding to a charity directly.
Mm-hmm.
You get a nice big tax write-off in the year you do that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it in, year to year, you can start a donor advised fund where you can sort of gift those low basis holdings into the donor advised fund. Every year you can, put 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. You don't have to pay tax on it and you can dribble out your giving over time. And then of course, in your estate planning, you can make a big bequest if that's something that's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 70 and a half, there's something called a qualified charitable distribution where you can take up to, I think it's like $105,000. You can take it out of your retirement account and it can go directly to a charity. It's in lieu of taking your required minimum distribution. It can satisfy part of it.
Okay.
So these are all things that you can do in the future to, I think, satisfy your needs, which hey, we don't need to give all of our money away right now. We have no one else to leave it to, but we want to be charitable and we want to make sure that we're using the tax code to our advantage. And I think you're in great shape. You're in totally great shape. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we feel very fortunate and, yes, we know we're in great shape. It is just that psychological shift from, I started investing when I was in high school.
Amazing.
buying CDs paying 15% interest, and so
That was a good deal then, huh?
yes, it
Not
was.
bad. Not bad.
Um,
So, I mean, is there some way, maybe what you can do is, do you guys have a hard time spending money? Is that a hurdle for you?
um, yes and no. I mean, I think my wife and I, when we first met, we were at an opposite extreme. She was a big spender. I was a big saver.
Hmm.
We have since kind of met in the middle, a little bit leaning towards the saving side. So I've gotten better with it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's very hard for me to spend money and indulge myself. Like I just booked a trip and was like, I think I can afford first class. Should I really?
Yes.
Should I really?
Yes.
Should I really spend the money and
Yes, you should.
buy the
Yes,
first class ticket?
yes,
Or should
absolutely.
And so I did, but it was it was really hard.
Mark and I have been giving this advice. This is a very funny day where we're telling people to spend money. I must be the only person who does a show like this where I'm like, just spend the money. I don't mean to be like indulgent. On the other hand, why did you work so hard and put this money away if you cannot enjoy it, especially after the last few years that you've had? So one way to work your way around it is to say, gosh, every year in our brokerage account, we have, I don't know, you'll see what you'll look in your tax documents and maybe it's you get a tax liability, you get interest and dividend income. Maybe it's some amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you say, I'm going to spend that money every year. That's going to be like our first class tickets somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's like a game to play with yourself because you have plenty of money. You're not going to spend all the money you have. You guys could live to 105. You're not going to spend all your money. So one nice thing to consider would be to just set up some kind of separate account where you can basically say, this is an account that is meant for us to have fun.
Oh,
this is our fun money account. And you know that you're not going to need it. You know, you're not going to have to worry about it. So I love that idea because it doesn't freak you out as much. You're both on board with it. And maybe in some years, you're not going to spend the whole thing, but maybe while you are in this period of life where you are young and you are healthy, it's like you're still healthy and spend the money, have it, go, 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 right? And then 75 to 85 is the slow go. And once you're over 85, it's usually the no go. You're not going around. You're not like, who wants to get in an airport right now? I mean, I barely want to do it at this age, but I think you've done such hard work and you've gotten here. You have to give yourself permission. And if you've called us to try to have us provide that permission granted. You can do it. You can do it.
It's been, growing up with depression baby parents and just, being in that mentality of, you're always worried about that rainy day because the carpet can be pulled out from underneath you at any moment, and that's the psychological shift of, I don't think that will happen. And, kind of moving beyond that, it's almost like therapy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's so funny. The whole reason that I wrote my second book, The Great Money Reset, was this exact situation during the pandemic where people were kind of calling us for permission to do something different with their lives. And it may have been like if a few years ago, before you ever had your bad diagnosis, you just wanted to call and be like, God, I'm just so sick of this. Could I ever retire? I always thought I would retire when I'm 65. Could I ever do it when I'm 61? And we would have been like, yeah, you can. But you needed permission. And now life has given you permission and you've given yourself permission. We're just coming in on the sidelines and saying, yes, you are in fantastic shape. You guys have done a terrific job together. Maybe just moving to the middle from extreme saving to, spending, you want to go a little bit to the middle and enjoy what you have for as long as you can actually physically be able to do it. The money will last. Yeah. It's just we need to make sure that you physically can do the things you want to do. So, I think what you're going to find is that your total income is going to be more than enough. And if we, like I said, if you want to say, okay, well, my brokerage account, that's the money that I'm going to use. Or maybe you say, I'm going to take 50 grand a year out of the retirement account. That keeps us in the 24% bracket. And that 50 grand after taxes, we're going to blow that on something. You make whatever is the way that you will get to the end result of we give ourselves permission to have some fun with this money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all it comes down to is giving it's really myself. I don't think my wife's going to have any problem with it. But
She's like, let's go, Jolene.
yeah,
Let's go.
Yes, she's ready. And I'm like, well, so.
Well, you're ready because now life has given you this opportunity and you've done a great job. And you know what? I think, and by the way, do I think it's likely that you're going to maintain these 2 residences? I bet not. I bet, there's at least $500,000 that is freed up to do something else. And you live wherever you want to live. That's what I think. Don't worry about like where has a better tax treatment or not, whatever. You go where you want to go. And if neither of these places are where you really want to be, sell them both and get something different. But what I think is clear is you can do what you want. You have to give yourself permission to do this. So when you are feeling insecure, you'll just play this episode back over and over.
Okay. Sounds good.
Go spend some money. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, if you've got a question about your early retirement, you've gone through a healthcare issue, it's kind of woken you up, and maybe you really want to make a different decision moving forward, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note. And if you want to join us on the air live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Hey, don't forget to sign up for our free weekly newsletter. It comes out every single Friday. And I love what Mark does with that. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Hey, and don't forget to subscribe to the Money Watch podcast as well. Leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. Please try to lift someone up, change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.